My name is Elias, and I work as a dispatcher for a toll road monitoring service. My shift is from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. I sit in a small booth in the middle of a forest, surrounded by monitors broadcasting the emptiness of Highway A42. It's the most boring job in the world. At least, that's what I thought until tonight. At the 20th kilometer of the highway stands camera 14. It's old, constantly flickering with static, but it's the only one that covers the entrance to a long concrete tunnel under the mountain. At 2:14 a.m., I noticed a red sedan. It was driving slowly, too slowly for a highway. I switched to camera 15, located at the tunnel's exit. The tunnel is only 400 meters long. The car should have emerged in 20 seconds. I waited a minute. Then the red sedan never appeared. Probably a breakdown or an accident, I thought. I checked the internal tunnel cameras. They were empty. Absolutely empty. No sedan, no brake marks. The car had simply entered and vanished into a blind spot between the entrance and the internal feed. I called a patrol, but they were 50 kilometers away. Check again, Elias. You know those cameras glitch sometimes. A sleepy voice answered over the radio. I started scrolling back through the recordings, and then I saw something that made my heart skip a beat. That same red sedan appeared on camera 14 again. It was entering the tunnel once more. The time on the video timestamp, 2:14 a.m. Was the recording looping? No, the clock on my live monitor was moving perfectly fine. I looked at the live feed. The red sedan entered the tunnel again, and a second later, it appeared on the approach again. It looked as if reality had torn open. The car was entering the tunnel every 10 seconds, duplicating itself. Camera 14 now showed 10 red sedans lined up for the tunnel. Then 20. They moved in perfect sync, like a conveyor belt, and not a single one came out the other side. Then, the first car in line stopped directly in front of the camera. The driver opened the door. The footage was grainy, but I recognized that jacket. A blue windbreaker with a yellow stripe. It was my jacket. The person looked up and stared directly into the camera. He had my face. Only his eyes were pitch black like oil. The double pulled out a cell phone and started typing. A second later, my personal phone on the desk vibrated. Private number. With trembling hands, I pressed accept. The only thing I heard was heavy breathing and the sound of wind whistling through a tunnel. Elias, open the technical exit gates, my own voice whispered from the phone. It's getting crowded in here. We need more room. I looked at the monitor. Hundreds of red cars now stood by the tunnel. They filled the highway as far as the camera could see. I locked all the exits from the control panel. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hit the buttons. Suddenly, the lights in the booth began to flicker. On camera 14, I started pounding my fist against the camera lens. The sound of the blows echoed in my speakers. Thump, thump, thump. Then the sound changed. The thumping wasn't coming from the speakers anymore. It was coming from outside. Someone was pounding on the door of my dispatcher booth. Thump, thump, thump. I looked at the security camera above my own door. There stood a man in a blue windbreaker. Next to him, another and another. An entire line of my copies stood in the woods, waiting to get into the booth. The first one pressed a piece of paper against the door's glass. It was written in my handwriting. You are the 20th kilometer. Your time is up. I realized then that the tunnel wasn't a trap for cars. It was a factory. It creates duplicates of everything nearby to fill the void. And now, I was the only original left. The door began to creak. I grabbed a fire extinguisher, ready to fight to the end. But at that moment, the radio came to life. Elias, this is the patrol. We're at the 20th kilometer. It's empty. No cars, no tunnel. Wait. Elias, Why are you standing in the middle of the road staring at us?" I ran to the window and saw the police flashes in the darkness of the forest. But I also saw myself. I was standing in front of their car, smiling that same unnaturally wide smile. "That's not me!" I screamed into the radio, but I heard only static. The last thing I remember is my monitor screen going black, and in the reflection, I saw my own eyes slowly filling with black oil. In the morning, the police found the booth empty. Only one monitor was left running, endlessly playing a clip of a red sedan entering a tunnel. At 2:14 a.m. over and over again.